and everything. You like that. I have one brief announcement. Chalice circles are forming now. This is the earliest we've ever done it, and it will allow us to have an extension of one more service before Christmas. So you can sign up in small groups. You can sign up in small, you can sign up. These small groups will meet monthly over the course of the church year to create shared spaces for spiritual formation. Get the information at the patio tables today and over the next few weeks after the services. Our order of service this morning is available as a link in the Sunday email and online by scanning the QR code on the back of your hymnal with your phone camera. Again, welcome to Neighborhood Church. Whoever you are, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, welcome to this inclusive faith community connected by love, spirit, and service.
We gather this morning in celebration of our human capacity to engage with joy and wonder through play. Some of our music today, as I believe Cesario will describe in a few minutes, is related to a real and very difficult, sad event. Playfulness and a sense of wonder cannot be separated from how we engage with our tragedies. Indeed, we must engage in play. We must engage in play to broaden our spirits, to reinforce our social bonds, and to create space for risk-taking, for learning, and for joy. Writes John Pavlovitz, sometimes joy shows up in moments its arrival is least expected. After a season of protracted sorrow, perhaps, when the worst seems a foregone conclusion, when you've been using it so long that you forget what it feels like. Today we light this chalice of audacious hope with our playful spirits. As my dear colleague Lynn Unger says, joy doesn't always come when you call, but it comes sooner if you let it know where to find you. Come, let us worship together this morning. As we begin this morning, I invite you into a moment of centering, where we find ourselves in this space, in this time together. I invite you to take a deep breath in, finding yourself rooted into your seat, legs, feet extending to the earth, being cradled by this earth. Breathing deeply into your center. Exhaling. We'll gather for a moment of shared silence. I invite you back into the space if you have wandered, opening your eyes, shoulders tall. Invite a smile to your face. Stretch your neck around. Smile at a neighbor. Smile at the folks who are gathering with us online. Big wave, that works too.
Our opening hymn is number 1001 in your teal hymnal. It is breaths. Everybody go whoosh. Ah. Whoosh. So when those spots come up in the hymn, I invite you to, embrace those sounds. Let's stand in rise in body or in spirit and join together in singing breaths.
Breath
fire's voice is heard, 'tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Sigh, whoosh, ah, whoosh. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the voice of the waters sigh. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's breast. They are in the wailing child. They are with us in our homes. They are with us in this crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Sigh. Sigh. Sigh.
So as many of you know, in the summers, we don't often have a time for all ages, and this is for a couple of different reasons, but today we are going to have one, and it's a very special one. We're going to do a couple of different things today, and the first thing that I would like to do is invite Bree Young to come up. Now, Bree, as you may recall, has been serving with us since January. Bree is our interim director of spiritual exploration. And Bree came to us, bless her, started, I believe, the week after the fires in January when our community and our congregation was in a lot of turmoil. And she has bravely faced a congregation in turmoil, helped us study our religious education program, helped train and regain and recruit teachers, helping to create an opportunity for our child caregivers to be supported who are here right now, and has really served in a period of great transition for us with a lot of grace under a lot of pressure. Bree's time with us is coming to a close as the interim. She will be here throughout the end of the month. So for the next couple of weeks, you will still see Bree here, but I wanted to thank Bree from me, from our staff, I know as well, and on behalf of the congregation, thank you so, so very much. So make sure and stop by after the service today and say hi and thanks to Bree. Like I said, she'll be here for a couple more weeks, so you have some time to do that. We are so thankful. Now, for our other part of our Time for All Ages today, we're going to do an offering, but it's going to be a reverse offering. So I would invite Ginger, our Director of Congregational Life, to come forward, and maybe, Hannah, maybe you could assist Ginger. And maybe Zenaida would help too. We're going to do a reverse offering where we're going to give you toys. Now, You can go ahead and hand those out to folks. Choose one. There are a couple of different options in the basket. And if you're wondering, do I have to take one? Yes. So you'll see in the basket, there's some Play-Doh, there's a little tic-tac-toe game, there's a Rubik's Cube that Ginger and I personally this morning messed up for you. They all came perfectly solved. Now, I invite you, go ahead and play with them. You might want to instinctually just hold in your hand real quiet. No, don't do that. Take it out, play with it. Go ahead, take the Play-Doh out. Warm it up in your hands. Make something. Make a little ball, a little bunny rabbit, a heart. Exchange colors with your neighbor if you'd like. Now, if you have a tic-tac-toe board, why don't you invite someone to a quick game right now? This very minute. And if you're too shy, it's a good opportunity to meet somebody around you you've never met before. I was also telling Ginger this morning that Rubik's Cubes, how many of you here have ever actually solved one? Okay, a couple of you. Now, and you can talk, that's okay. There's a little bit of movement. That's okay, we're having fun. Remember that? Now, Rubik's Cubes are interesting. I learned this when my children were playing with them, that it's all about an algorithm, that when you spot certain blocks in certain areas, you learn a pattern to fix it. I did not know that. I thought my whole entire life it was chance. And turns out it's not. Who knew? So if that appeals to you, go right ahead. So I invite you to play with these throughout the service today. Throughout the whole service. And what that means is I'm going to be preaching to a lot of tops of heads. That's fine. That's fine. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of continued play in our lives. So in all stages of our lives, what does it mean to play and to be around with people as we play? And as we're honoring Bree and the work that she has done, it's especially important to honor our educators who are some of the first, and our parents, folks who are teaching us how to play and engage in the world. So please engage with these things. Share with somebody. If anybody solves the Rubik's Cube, I want to hear bingo. No, that wasn't. I don't hear. Say, I solved it real quick out in the middle of nowhere. I think that's important. I also want to take this opportunity to introduce a couple of changes that we're making in our sanctuary. Every summer, because it's easier to do in the summer, our staff team and some of our lay leaders, we engage in a process of, so far, I've been here 2 summers, so I'm just going to say it's a tradition at this point. We engage in a process of really okay, we got somebody who has said bingo. I didn't clearly change James Coombs' Rubik's Cube enough. So James, your goal now is to mess it up and exchange it with somebody around you. Okay, there we go. We engage in a process of evaluating our sanctuary space to make it more inclusive, and we mean inclusive in all sorts of ways. So one of the areas that we're playing with a little bit, this isn't permanent, this is an experiment, we're playing with a little bit is creating a family-friendly corner in our narthex. And that's sort of been unofficial in the past, but we're creating an area that is giving priority to our families with smaller children. We have childcare available, and of course in the fall we'll go back to having educational classes for all of our children and youth at all ages. But some families like to participate in service together. So we've created an area that should be family friendly, and those of you who might use that area, let us know if it's working for you. And I also want to reiterate, families, children, people of all ages are welcome in the sanctuary. So kids, families with kids, please feel free to be in this space. You don't have to go to that area, but if you're more comfortable, please go ahead and sit there. The other thing that we're playing a little bit with is creating a quiet crafting area in the service. So some of you may have seen, in addition to the table, so it'd be on everyone's left side, There's a table over there for engaging in some quiet crafts. So you can make some things, you can collage, you can knit, you can make a pom-pom. There's some note cards if you want to write somebody a letter. And I'm encouraging you to do this during the service. And this is for people of all ages. So folks with families, or maybe you just listen better if you're coloring, please go use that table. These are ways that we can engage our brains, our minds, our bodies, and our spirits instead of just sitting and zoning off, staring into space, listening very intently to the service. This is a way that you can engage, and we invite you to do that. And so there might be a little paper rustling over there or the sound of scissors. That's fine. That's fine. We can cope with that. We invite you to do that. We're also making some other changes with some seating to make sure that there's all sorts of seating available for folks. And we're going to ask over the course of the next month, a couple of months, we're going to be paying attention to some issues related to safety and how we move through this space. So we have 2 sets of doors in the narthex. We're going to ask that one set of doors always remain closed, so you'll see some signage there. And that's to give people an opportunity to come through one central door so we know who is in our space. And we can pay attention and answer questions that way. So if you are used to coming in the doors that are over by our coffee area, we're going to ask that you come in the central doors. We're also going to be moving, as an experiment, again, our welcome table into the narthex area. And that is, again, to keep a little bit closer track of who is coming into our space so that we can be as inclusive and welcoming and also be a little bit more mindful about some of our security measures. So in the meantime, play with the Play-Doh, play with the Rubik's Cube, invite a neighbor to some tic-tac. I won't tell you the winning strategy of tic-tac. You have to figure it out on your own. There is one, just like there is for a Rubik's Cube, but then it's not fun, right? Then it's not fun. At this point, we'll move into our Share the Plate portion. Thank you.
Each Sunday, our congregation dedicates 100% of its contributions to our organizations that are 501(c) or neighborhood church-based social activities that are making a difference in our community and the world. You can donate in one of 2 ways. You can use your cell phone to donate by texting the number on the screens, or you can if you prefer to donate in person, put your donation in one of the designated boxes during the music or after the service. There's a donation box here in front, and there's one in the back in the center row, and in the narthex entryway on the table. You may rise during the music and put your donation in the box if you wish. Please extend help to those in your neighborhood who may need assistance during reaching the donation box. If you wish to make a payment toward a pledge or contribute to the church operations, make a note in the subject line or use an envelope available at the donation boxes. This week, our gifts will support the Japanese American National Museum. Please welcome Edward Escarcega, the philanthropy officer of the museum. Edward?
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, and thank you for the beautiful music. Everything that's been said is just really lovely. I love the intention. Thank you so much, Katie, for your patience. I know I have 3 minutes, so just give me a signal or the crook, and I'm ready to go. I'm Edward. I'm a philanthropy officer at the Japanese American National Museum in Little Tokyo. So Little Tokyo is about 15, 20 minutes from here. It's nice to be in this sacred space with you and share this. I'm really humbled, and I didn't imagine I'd be holding a Rubik's Cube and bringing my coffee in. I grew up in Catholic church, and I've done a little Zen, but this is great. Little Tokyo, and I would say specifically Janum, is also a sacred space. So I invite you all to visit, and I'll ask you again to visit. I'll leave my contact, and my invitation is for you to see in person what the sacred space is. And the reason why it's sacred is that 1942, what happened just on the same corner of the museum, buses lined up, families with children and suitcases, you were allowed to, boarded the buses to go to places like Manzanar, which is the closest concentration camp. So America's concentration camps, there were 10 major ones. But that space and that museum was built not by one very rich man or woman, but by a community of survivors, of 442nd veterans, of local business people, families, volunteers. It really is built by community, and it still remains a community. We have been standing up since 1992 to speak on behalf of other communities as well, who we see are in risk or are challenged by politics, by government decisions, just as we are today. 1992, April, if you can imagine going back then to that year, that time, I think it was the 29th or 22nd, those numbers come to mind. But there was a little bit of upheaval and an uprising in Los Angeles in that year. And that was the LA uprising. Some of them call them the LA riots. But now I've kind of reintroduced my language because, reassessed it because it really came from the injustice of the beating of Rodney King. That night was supposed to be the museum's opening, and that night we had to go indoors, and we realized in that evening that it was an imperative for the museum to stand up for justice and social justice, and to stand up for the rights of others. I wanted to make very sure that what happened in 1942 never happened to anyone else. So when there were issues with Muslim bans, when there were issues with anti-hate for Asians, when there were issues now, when the executive orders came out with the current administration, we stood up. We were the first museum, and actually the only one in the nation at that time to say anything, And we're a 501c3, so we feel like we owe the public also a service. We owe, because of our experience, and I say our, but it was really 125,000 individuals that did not have due process, and we see that same thing happening today. I invite you all to come, and if you go to Little Tokyo, you'll see, even on the sidewalks, you'll see information about what happened at that time. People lost their businesses, their homes, their livelihoods. The stories are endless, so I'm still learning. But I think my time might be up. I wish I had a counter. I imagine that there would be a big red clock with the numbers, but I'll leave you with the invitation, and I want to thank our ancestors, Dlaso Kamati. I'm Mexican American. My kids happen to be part Japanese. You don't have to be Japanese to come to our space and to enjoy the programs or to support. We are totally inclusive, and we're doing our very best to fight against the injustices that we see today. We have something called the Democracy Center, and that is a project that Daniel Inouye, senator from Hawaii, envisioned as a place where we would learn from the Japanese American experience and take action today in terms of organizing, inviting, disseminating information, and showing, talking about things that no one else really has either the courage, the time, or the passion, or the insight, or the lessons learned. So we want to share that with you all. And I'm serious, I will leave my cards somewhere for you to find them. And please reach out to me. I will give you a personal tour and give you as much information and be as welcoming as you all have been to me, for me. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Edward. You are part of a sacred space, there's no question. Thank you all for giving generously.
The two songs I'm singing this morning come from the modern oratorio, Considering Matthew Shepard by Craig Hella Johnson, regarding the murder of Matthew Shepard 30 years ago now. Time does fly, my goodness. And the first one is Matthew just reflecting on how life has changed. When I think of all the times the world was ours for dreaming, when I think of all the times the earth seemed like a home, every heart alive with its own longing, every future we could ever hope to hold. All the times the laughter rang in summer, all the times the rivers sang our tune. Was there already sadness in the sunlight? Some stormy story waiting to be told? Where, oh, where has the innocence gone? Where, oh, where has it gone? Rains rolling down wash away my memory. Where, oh, where has it gone? When I think of all the joys, the wonders we remember, all the treasures we believed we'd never ever lose, too many days gone by without their meaning, too many darkened hours without their peace. Where, oh, where has the innocence gone? Where, oh, where has it gone? Vows we once swore, now it's just this letting go. Where, oh, where has it gone? Where, oh, where has the innocence gone? Where, oh, where has it gone? Rains rolling down wash away my memory. Where, oh, where has it gone?
For our reading this morning, I offer you this selection from a larger writing called Cosmic Play, written by the Swami Tayaganada. With a little bit of creative imagination, it is possible to see God as a child. If nothing is impossible for God, then God can be everywhere and in everyone. God can be immanent as well as transcendent. God can be both personal as well as impersonal. God can have form and also be beyond form. God can have qualities and also be beyond qualities. God can be whatever I hope God is, and so much more besides. God can be a child too, and why not? Now, why would my heart like to think of God as a child? Before adults get a chance to meddle in the lives of children and kill their spontaneity, the little ones do everything out of the fullness of their joyful heart. It is possible to see the whole world in this light as a joyful play of God, a play of cosmic proportions. The divine child is playing on the timeless sands on the shoreless ocean of life. In Sanskrit, this kind of play is called Leela. God has the nature of a child, said Sri Ramakrishna from the Gospel 769. Galaxies and planets and mountains and rivers and animals and plants and, of course, human beings of all colors, shapes, and sizes, we are the toys in the hands of this divine child who is playing all alone. No one knows when this play began, and the child doesn't even care, and no one knows will it will end, and the child cares even less. All we know is that the play is still going on. The child continues to play. The cosmic play of the divine child is an interesting way to view the phenomenon everyone calls the world, but it requires some gumption to appreciate it. It is much easier to be skeptical of the cosmic play idea. It is also natural for questions to arise. Our joys can be part of the divine play, but what about our suffering? Describing our sorrow and suffering, our trials and tribulations, our losses and our heartbreaks, as nothing but play feels like a bad joke, even if the play is God's. And worse, the divine child whose play generates our sorrow is difficult to reconcile with a God who is loving and caring. Has it come to this now that our fate hangs on the erratic whims of a child? We need to recover the lost innocence, this divine thought, this purity and spontaneity of a child. When we regain these, the I as the pronoun recedes to the background. We are able to look upon the whole world as the playground of God. Joy and sorrow, good and evil, life and death, everything then can be accepted as a part of this divine play. Being aware of the divine play does not lead to condoning evil or ignoring pain or winking at injustice. On the contrary, we are able to put our experiences in perspective and then calmly and decisively do the right thing in most situations. Every play has its rules after all, and when I'm involved in the play, I have to abide by the rules of the game. But if I can't, if I want, I can step aside and witness the drama as a bystander. When I step out, I also go beyond the notions of good and bad, right and wrong, joy and sorrow. I simply am in the eternal flow, fully present in the moment. And when that happens, there is neither the child nor the play. There is neither the world out there or the one in me. What remains thereafter cannot be expressed. The moment I try to express it, the cosmic play starts all over again. The goal is not to express, but to experience the truth. And thus ends our reading.
In this next selection, the composer uses Daniel Landinsky's translation of the Sufi poet Hafiz to give voice to Matthew Shepard's heartbreak and transition as he's tied to the fence. My heart is an unset jewel upon the tender night. My heart is an unset jewel, yearning for its dear old friend, the moon. When the nameless one debuts again, 10,000 facets of my being unfurl wings and reveal such a radiance inside, such a radiance. I enter a world divine. I too begin to sweetly cast light, like a lamp. I cast light through the streets of this world. My heart is an unset jewel upon existence, waiting for the friend's touch. Tonight, tonight, my heart is an unset ruby offered, bowed and weeping to the sky. I am dying in these cold hours, for the resplendent glance of God is an unset jewel upon the tender night. My heart none said ruby, offered bowed and weeping to the sky.
I invite you to take a deep breath in and out. Thank you, Cesario. So I'd like to know, before we move into the lecture part of our class today, how many of you have solved the Rubik's Cube? A few of you? I see, yeah. How many of you made a small sculpture that you'd like to hold up and show us? Beautiful. We have some folks at the art table. Great. Fantastic. Now is time for our pop quiz. True or false? Communal engagement in play offers opportunities to share emotional experiences that have the power to connect individuals in meaningful ways. True or false? True. Adults face societal pressures to prioritize productivity over leisure, and play is frequently misperceived as unproductive. True. Play benefits the learning process. True. Play and being playful is for children only. The World Health Organization states that intergenerational, age-friendly environments foster healthy and active aging. True, there was a little hesitancy there. And last one, making art and being playful should never happen in a worship service. Whew, okay. All right, did everyone get a passing score? Yes. Okay, now you've earned recess. But in 15 minutes. Okay. So most of us in here are of an adultish age. I'd wager, you can define that however you'd like. I'd wager that most of us don't make it a priority to play every day, although I know some of you do. How many of you here do make it a priority to play every day? Somehow. And some of you might be making some mental playfulness right now by asking yourself, what does she mean by play? Is it board games or hide and go seek or baseball, mermaids in the swimming pool? Maybe a crossword puzzle, that's also play, or a game of tic-tac-toe here, maybe with your grandchild on a napkin at a restaurant. That's all play. How about painting or knitting something new, or for the first time, or doing something poorly on purpose, just to see what would happen? That's all play. The importance of play and playfulness and imagination for humans, it cannot be underscored enough. Of course, those of us who engage with children and youth, we know this either as educators or caregivers or parents. For children, play is crucial to development. It's how children learn about themselves, how they learn about the world. It's integral to social development, whether it's in team sports or make-believe with a friend or board games. And when children engage with adults in play, they learn from them about intergenerational engagement, emotional regulation also that comes with it. They learn that adults are also capable of learning and adapting to social cues. They learn that adults don't always have all the answers, or that we can be fallible as well. They learn that wonder and curiosity are vital to emotional, spiritual, and physical health throughout our whole lives. And all of this is true for adults, too. We here with our big, developed, logical brains, right, that we have, probably would all agree that playfulness and imagination are important. I think we can all agree. But something happens for adults along the way that limits our playtime. We start taking ourselves pretty seriously. We forget that play is necessary for our development, too, for our spiritual development. Play, writes Bernie DeCoven and Matthew Paris, play is what makes us human. It's doing seemingly pointless things sometimes. He writes, an age is coming when machines will be able to do everything. Ah, you say, but they will not be conscious. But how will we know a machine is not conscious? How will we know another human being is conscious? There's only one way, he writes, when it starts to play. In playfulness lies the highest expression of the human spirit. He emphasizes, in playfulness lies the highest expression of the human spirit. So there you are. Playfulness is a spiritual thing. It is a human thing, a thing that we are fundamentally. We are playful. A blessing that was handed down to us not only from generation to generation, but also from species to species. Not just a human thing, but the highest expression of consciousness. Now, some might say that it would be a stretch to affirm that my family card game is one that leads to the highest expression of consciousness. But then again, I would counter that and say, you've never sat at my grandmother's table with a bowl of salty, buttery popcorn, watching my various aunts and uncles lovingly duke it out over the 6 of spades that somebody has just discarded. I grew up watching my grandparents and my parents and my aunts and uncles play a card game called Oklahoma. I don't know why. It doesn't have anything to do with Oklahoma. It's a type of progressive rummy that culminates in a pat hand, a string of 10, but more often it's like 15 or 20 cards in a row. Ideally, they must be of the same suit. Now, the goal is to get the fewest points possible each round over several rounds, and that last hand usually makes or breaks the game. So even if you get a medium score throughout the game, if you're not the winner of the last hand, you probably won't win the whole game. You might win specific rounds. Every child in my family grows up first watching the adults play in this seemingly labyrinthian game of rules and house rules and expressions that are carried down, some starting with my grandfather. And then as the children get older, usually around the time they can hold their own hand of cards, they start expressing a desire to play on their own. They are shown no mercy. No mercy. They usually lose for years. And newcomers also, bless them, if they stick around in the family long enough, are taught this game. My now husband, then boyfriend, learned the game, and boy, he took his losses with grace, getting absolutely pummeled by my great aunt for years before he won her over by his good nature acceptance that he would never win this game in her presence. Now my cousin and I, when we gather, and our combined children, who are all ranging in ages from early teens to my oldest son at 23, when we gather, we play. And so do their beloveds and their friends and their significant others who stick it out with us when they gather with us on vacations and on holidays. And so the cycle goes. this next generation using phrases that were coined by my grandfather, their great-grandfather, who died before they were all born. In a crowning moment of generational achievement, my oldest son, Max, 23, beat us at a long post-Thanksgiving dinner game a few years ago, using a cunning strategy that I have never seen. We, my forefathers, and I had never even thought to plan for. We had no house rules for this. It was a good strategy. It was sneaky. It allowed him to dominate the game in a way that had never even occurred to me. And he won, stunning me and all of my dear ancestors in the spirit world. And so the cycle goes. And so the cycle goes. This type of play teaches us so much more than strategy, although it does that too, but it teaches us so much more about social cohesion. We learn intergenerationally about values, about new ways to make those values real in a world and to put them into practice, about creating new strategies for the times in which we live. My colleague, the Reverend Sherry Woodbury, describes this as a core way of transformation and how transformation is manifested in our spiritual development. She states this: the value of transformation is about being a Unitarian Universalist, being a people who adapt to a changing world. We're not stuck in past understandings or practices. We evolve. She goes on to quote the transformation values statement that was part of the Article 2 amendments that were passed last year. Transformation. We adapt to a changing world. We covenant to collectively grow and transform spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages. It's never complete, and it's never perfect. Transformation and evolution, these are necessary in times like these in which we are living. In times where danger is very real and we are faced with a terrifying reality of hyper-extractive capitalism, the destruction of social contracts that once held human rights as self-evident, the dangerous eruption of fascism and authoritarianism. Transformation and evolution happen through risk-taking, through sometimes intentional but always curiosity-driven action. And one of the ways that we practice risk-taking is through play. Playing in settings where we can be vulnerable and wonder-filled, playing with people who will challenge us, yes, but also help us learn something new about ourselves and the world. The Strong Museum of Play suggests, and yes, there is a museum, probably several, dedicated to this. They suggest that the cycle of play is important in our lives, and I'll start randomly at one point in the cycle, but if you can imagine this as a circle. Anticipation, where curiosity and anxiety and uncertainty and risk-taking take place. And then surprise, an aha moment of discovery or shifting perspective. And then pleasure, that feels good, that's exciting, we enjoy it. Then understanding, we have new knowledge and then we can apply that new knowledge and ideas that we've learned. And strength, we feel strong, we feel empowered, we feel confident, we have new skills. And then poise, because we have a sense of composure and balance in our lives. And so the cycle goes. Play is serious business right now. Play is what helps us attain some new skills, to be transformed and to be stronger in our approach to this world. Play keeps a spiritual curiosity alive in us, one that makes room for us to experiment and to feel good when we learn new perspectives, to feel strong. The Jesuit priest Anthony de Mello, describing the Hindu belief that I mentioned earlier, the Hindu belief, Leela, God's play, he describes it this way. The master once referred to the Hindu notion that all creation is Leela, God's play, and the universe is his playground. The aim of spirituality, he claimed, is to make all life play. This seemed too frivolous for a puritanical visitor who asked, "Is there no room then for work?" And he responded, "Of course there is, but work becomes spiritual only when it is transformed into play." So let us not forget to play, even while, not despite, but even a while and alongside other ways that we're engaging in the world today. It is so necessary for our spirits. Play brings us joy. It helps us learn new ways of being in the world. It brings us together in new and unexpected ways. Play can help transform us and nourish us, giving us fortitude for being a people dedicated to creating a more just and loving world. So sing with friends. Invite someone to a quick round of tic-tac-toe. Engage with a new online game. Make a Play-Doh sculpture with a child or an elder or someone of your own age sitting next to you in a pew. Make up a game with silly rules. Why not? Unless you're my oldest son watching right now. That was too silly of a rule. It was just rude, what you did. Take a risk. Take a risk now and again. Practice taking risks. There's no telling what our power of imaginations could unlock if we were to always be open to curiosity and joy that playfulness can create within us. May it be so.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, We Give Thanks. We'll sing it twice.
So for the toys you are currently playing with, you're welcome to take those home. Otherwise, we will put baskets out into the narthex on the new welcome table and also on the other table where the offering box is. And if you'd like to put your stuff back in there and enjoy it next week, please do. We encourage it. For the benediction today, I share these words from John Pavlovitz. We have to nurture the goodness inside us despite the outside badness, to not be defined by how many things we hate. Our default response to this life can be hope, not derision. May we who oppose this national malignancy never become so devoid of lightness that we resemble those who celebrate it. May we never applaud someone's suffering, never weaponize our religion to do harm, never grow comfortable with hearts that are only capable of anger. May we never lose our laughter, our softness, our lightness in this life.